Welcome to Science and Futurism. Today, we are going to talk about the challenges faced by SpaceX to land the Starship. So far, there have been two high altitude flight tests of Starship prototypes. As you might recall, the first one took place with serial number 8 back in December last year, and the most recent took place on 2nd February when SN9 lifted for the 10-kilometer flight test. Although most part of both the flights were without any problems, what SN8 and SN9 both failed to do was to land successfully. And prior to the flights, to almost everyone, it seemed like landing portion of Starship was not going to be the biggest cause of concern. Because SpaceX has been landing their Falcon 9 boosters on a regular basis now. However, it turns out that landing a Starship is much more difficult than previously thought. You see, when a Falcon 9 booster heads back to land, it approaches the landing engines first. This way, there is no problem of fuel not reaching the combustion chamber, and the concern of engine relight is relatively low. However, when landing engines first, the area of booster which is exposed to the atmosphere is very low. This translates into low atmospheric drag. As a result, the deceleration is low and relatively more fuel is required to land the booster. This heavy fuel requirement leads to decrease in the total payload that can actually be launched to orbit. In order to make sure that Starship takes maximum possible payload to orbit, SpaceX approached the landing of Starship in such a way that most of the orbital velocity bleeds off in the atmosphere itself, a bit similar to what NASA's Space Shuttle used to do. When a Starship re-enters the atmosphere, it will do so in such a way that the maximum surface area is exposed for atmospheric drag. This way, when a Starship reaches its landing pad, its velocity is very low compared to the Falcon 9 booster. Once near the landing pad, Starship will reignite the Raptor engines and flip itself and then touch down on the landing pad. This landing maneuver is where both the high altitude flights so far have failed. In addition to the landing failure, the cause of the landing failure was also very different in both the occasions. Starship SN8 failed due to low methane header-tank pressure, while SN9 failed due to Raptor engine failure. Actually, in order to land a Starship, only 2 of the 3 Raptor engines are required. So, naturally, SpaceX just opted to relight 2 engines. But it is important to note that Raptor engines are still a maturing technology, and SN9 flight has just proven that currently they are not as reliable as the Merlin engines of the Falcon 9 booster. When asked on Twitter, why not relight 3 engines, flip the Starship and then shut down one, Elon Musk just replied that they were too dumb. However, later Elon Musk also confirmed the new landing approach that SpaceX will follow for the upcoming SN10 flight. Starship SN10 will now use all the 3 Raptor engines for the flip maneuver. In this way, even if one of the engine fails, SN10 will still have 2 minimum required engines for landing. Once the flip maneuver is done, Starship will shift back to 2 engines for the last portion of landing. However, there are some questions here. One natural question that many of you may have is that if they are relighting 3 engines, why not throttle them down rather than shifting back to 2 engines? Sure, this sounds very good, but the problem is we are not playing Kerbal Space Program where we can throttle engines to near zero. In real life, engines have something called minimum throttle point. Beyond this, there is a high risk of engine flameout. Flameout is when the combustion in the engine stops and there is loss of thrust, which means throttling down the 3 engines is very risky. So, okay, shifting back to 2 engines does make a lot of sense now. But this leads to another question. How will SpaceX determine which engine to shut down after the flip maneuver? To answer this, there are 3 possibilities. First possibility is where 2 of the 3 engines relight. In this case, there is no point of shutting down any engine, so Starship will just land on the 2 working ones. Another possibility is that all the 3 engines relight, but based on the data gathered, one of the engines is likely facing some problems. So naturally, that engine will be shut down. The last and the optimistic one is where all the 3 engines relight and are also performing perfectly. In this case, the engine with the least lever arm will shut down by default. In simple terms, the engine with the least amount of torque, in this case the levered engine as shown in the diagram, will be shut down by the flight computer. This leads us to the final question. Will this landing approach work? Maybe? We don't know. One thing that we for sure know is that we are going to see this landing maneuver in action when Starship SN10 undergoes the high altitude flight test. Currently SN10 is on the launch pad undergoing ground testing, and soon it will also go for the high altitude flight test. Let's just hope that this time Starship lands successfully so that we can see even higher altitude flight tests in the future. So that's all for today's video. Let me know your views on the new landing approach in the comments. If you like the content, do consider subscribing the channel. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.